Good morning, Oklahoma. I'm Mark Johnson, and this week's topic, as we look ahead to breeding season, hard to believe that breeding season is upon us since we were suffering from such brutal cold temperatures just a few days ago. But if we intend to start calving next January, April is going to be when bull turnout occurs. We typically say that there are three objectives of any breeding season. Number one, we want to get as many cows bred as early in the breeding season as possible. Number two, we want to get cows bred to bulls with as much genetic potential as possible. And the third thing is to accomplish this as economically as we possibly can. If we can get cows settled on their first estrus cycle of the breeding season, the result is that following calving and weaning season, we're going to wean off heavier calves with more pay weight. For example, if we miss one heat cycle on a cow, that 21 days that we miss results in a calf that the following year is going to wean off about 40 to 50 pounds lighter. If we spread that over a few cows in a cow herd, the financial losses begin to add up to us pretty quick. So this week's topic is more how do we accomplish that first objective in getting cows bred as early in the breeding season as possible. And in order to address that, I think it's important to think about what should we expect bulls to do, and particularly as we think about turning out bulls, relative to the age of a bull, what's the expectation of how many cows he should be able to settle. So our general rules of thumb, if we're turning out a 12-month-old bull, we should expect him to be able to cover about 12 cows in a defined breeding season. 18-month-old bull should be able to cover 18 or 19. As we get out to bulls that are a full 2 years of age, we should expect him to cover up to 25 cows. And as we move beyond that and think about mature bulls, it's realistic to think that a bull in their prime of life is going to cover 25 to 35 cows for us in a breeding season. But the reality is that bulls are going to be more likely to break down and potentially have some sort of problem as we get beyond 6 years of age. We in Oklahoma realize we have been through some Arctic temperatures when bulls were lying down and resting on frozen ground for extended periods. We always recommend a breeding soundness exam on bulls prior to turnout. This year, as we think about going into spring breeding season 2021, I believe breeding soundness exams are going to be more critical than ever. If we're going to be turning out bulls in multi-sire pastures, it's important that we mix those bulls prior to breeding season or as early prior to breeding season as possible. It allows those bulls to actually establish a pecking order, a hierarchy, if you will. If you've got bulls that are potentially going to fight and get injured, it permits you enough time to be replacing those prior to breeding season and bull turnout, as opposed to that happening inside a breeding season when bulls get injured and they're not covering cows, another thing that can spell financial disaster. Next week's topic, we'll be addressing topic number 2. And how do we identify the genetically important traits for our particular operation, our particular marketing endpoint for a set of calves, and the cow herd that we've got. Look forward to visiting with you next week.